Good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to our weekly Facebook Live from CWA, Conscious World Agents. My name is Arturo Mazzaro.
And my name is Claudia van Zuiden.
And together we are the co-founders of CWA. Every week we write something about a certain topic that has to do with consciousness, raising your level of consciousness. How can you deal with all the issues that we all have in our lives, and how can we stay at a certain level that we can also live that life that we really want, being happy, life full fulfillment, good relationships, all these kind of things.
That's it, you summed it all up.
And this week our topic is self-awareness. What does it mean? How can you apply it in your daily life? And what would be the benefit for you?
Yes, absolutely. And we both wrote a post about it, and we had some great interactions from you. I would like to share my post, but
yeah, beautiful.
Shall I start?
Yes.
So my post was about self-awareness versus self-assessment, and we might be in positions like in certain leadership positions that you have done a self-assessment to see what your strengths are and your weaknesses are and so forth. And you might have discovered those, and you might also have discovered what your passion is in life and about your vision, and you might be completely focused on that cause. So how do we go about then to bring that vision into fruition? Are we wanting the people that are on board with us in our team or in the relationship that you're at? Do you want them to have that same vision, that same passion as you, and do you just go like forward in the way you think it should be happening, or are you mindful? Are you mindful of how you're actually relating, how you are actually bringing your message across to them? And what we do see is that we might be really passionate about what we really want to achieve in life or what we're striving for. And then we go about in a certain way that is actually our way because we feel so passionate around it and we feel so purpose-driven. We actually start to forget how the others might feel around it. They might not be on that same hymn sheet as we are. They might not going about in the same way as we are. So are you mindful how you're bringing that message across? So what can we do to bring those people on board in your accomplishing your vision? Well, that is, especially in leadership roles, very important. But I think this also goes in our personal life. How do you go about? How do you engage? How do you relate? How do you communicate? Do you do this in a purpose-driven, passionate-driven way, or do you do it more in a more mindful way? Are you actually aware what goes on inside yourself when you share ways maybe how to achieve these things? So I think that's more like an internal awareness, and then what I feel is really helpful when we become more self-aware is that we also pay attention to the external awareness. Well, I think self-awareness is a huge step in leadership, in personal leadership, in team leadership, all that, and especially in the way how we communicate. Well, I find myself sometimes really passionate about things, and then I really need to sort of whistle myself back a little bit, saying, oh, well, okay, I know I'm passionate around it, but how does it feel for the others who are involved? And mindfulness techniques really help me with that, like taking a breath, oh, okay, really come here, and how does it feel for me, and what am I sensing in the external awareness? Well, what I also find is that do I look at, bringing people together, or do I want to create a division in the way I communicate? And that is important. Am I really being inclusive? Is everyone feeling part of this? And when we start to do that, people are much more likely to stay on board and want to come on board and be part of that vision. Well, taking a breath, in certain ways in our communication really helps me. And how does it help me? Because sometimes we can also be put under a lot of pressure. You might find people who are in leadership roles, and when they have to make huge decisions about something, they feel under pressure and they actually make a decision with something that is based on the subconscious mind, on the past, on previous experiences, how things have worked out, or on fear based in the future. So when you actually make a decision in the now, here and now, which is related to your heart, taking a breath can really help to just really become present, what's happening inside me, and then make a decision and look at our inner values. Because when our inner values are being looked at, being investigated, that's when we feel also more aligned with the decisions we make. They come from our heart, they come from our inner compass. And you might find that when you make decisions in big ventures or something like that, you might see that some people, make decisions that are not really value-based anymore. They're not really connecting with their inner compass. And what happens, they might not sleep so well afterwards. There might be niggling something in there. And you see that also in big companies who in the beginning might say they have some values and then they have to make big decisions. And I can mention a few companies who've done that. Perhaps also in oil companies and things like that. And then all of a sudden there was a huge disaster or something happening, an oil spill or whatever. And the decisions that were made were not based on their inner values anymore. They were under pressure, they were money-based and so forth. Nothing to do with consciousness. And so I think that is really important, that we can also realize that when we become under a lot of pressure, we might also make those kind of decisions that are not so conscious, that are, we are not so focused. They're based on the subconscious mind, what it remembers from the past, rather than being really in the now. So how do I do that? Or how would I give you an experience in my post about next time when you feel under pressure, take a couple of breaths and make that connection with your mind and your heart and look at your inner values. What would be the best decision for me to make right now, the best choice to make, and how does it feel in my body? How would I feel afterwards when I've made this decision? How would I sleep, And that's something that can make a huge difference in making a right choice and a not so good choice. So that's what I wrote about, and I really check in with myself often about that. What works for me that way, and what imprint does it leave in my body after I make that decision? And I feel tension, or I feel tension in my heart, or I feel something in my gut that's just not right, because that's also important that you connect the brain, the heart, and the gut. How does it sit with me? If there is a knot somewhere, then I would say take another breath. Take another breath.
Then it's a nut.
Then it's probably a knot. Yeah, you're right. And your body will tell you that way. What is the right choice here? And that's something we are not really taught. And I think leadership starts there. And when people see that, people around you see that, they will trust you more. You're more likely to be seen as an authentic leader, a mindful leader. And that starts just with ourselves. Ultimately, it's we are the ones, when we go to sleep at night, who will have a good night or not. And the rest is extra, I think. So, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And that was my content of my post. So, I don't know.
Well, I love it. Just take a deep breath. That will already help a lot. Mm-hmm. Instead of react right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which can become reject.
Yeah. You're also starting to be funny with words.
It's my inner compass speaking. It's a mum joke.
Yeah. But What if we all would do this more and more? Just take a deep breath before we really say something.
Yeah.
What could be the benefit for all?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think we will make a lot of good choices, and I think we would do less harm with our words and with our actions.
Yeah.
Definitely. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And yesterday I had a conversation with a person. We were sitting in the sun on a big terrace. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
And I said to him, "What if we all here on this terrace would take a deep breath and really listen to the other person? How would that change already the world?" And what we think is that it's sometimes that simple. Take a deep breath. Are you willing to listen? And then make a decision.
Yeah.
And everyone on this planet, everybody can do this.
Absolutely. And stay open, because what you think you know is often based on past experiences, often things in your childhood. And then all of a sudden when you consider something else and you feel out how that sits with you.
Yeah.
I like that expression, how does it sit with you? That is something that you really need to check in with myself. And we make a decision on that. And is that then based on the past? Or is it actually based on the here and now? And then when it's really based on the here and now, I think things will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
We might be much more open for other options, listen better to other people, and relate rather than divide. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, my post was also about self-awareness.
Was it?
Yes. Yeah. And I wrote a little bit more, taking a little bit more smaller, and about the results that you have in your life. And that can be business-wise, relationships, health, anything. And what I see, at least, a lot of people doing when the results are not as they expected, then they label it as negative. They label it as frustration, anxiety, it's not worth it, I cannot do it. And all these unhelpful labeling won't help you to change. And a lot of times people also blame the outside world, the economy, other people for what they said, how you feel, then the cause is because what other people do, and so on and so on. So if you have the negative labeling and you're blaming other people, you're not self-aware. You're putting everything outside of yourself. And once you understand that, Nikola Tesla said it, Einstein said it, we have the quantum physics now that's already really showing in science, everything is energy. And the Buddha said it already 1,000 years ago. That all that we are right now that have to do with all the thoughts that we had. And if you understand that thoughts are also energy, then you come more careful about what you think. So if you have this negative labeling and this negative blaming to other people and so on, then this is also what you send out. Self-awareness starts with, okay, just like you said, take a deep breath. And what if, okay, there is a thought that's coming up, it's energy. And don't label the thought as bad. Don't label the thought as there's the judge again, or it's frustration, or fear, or all these kind of things. just see it as, well, it's a thought, that's it. Thought comes in and it will go. There will never be a thought that will be there 24/7 every second with you. So it comes and it goes. And you can change the thought to something that you like. And we don't say, think only positive and everything in life is positive. No. Of course, we have our bad days and we have our emotions and we have feelings that maybe are not that nice. So don't suppress them. Just take them as they are. That's also self-awareness. And when you have the feeling you need to cry, just cry. But don't dwell in it. Don't dwell in all these emotions and the thoughts that you have, because most of the people are thinking about what the thought will do with them, instead of just being aware that it's just a thought. And I think Joe Dispenza is the one who said it. We have about 60,000 thoughts every day, and 90% of all these thoughts are the same as yesterday and will be the same tomorrow. So if you don't change this way of thinking, you will stay in the same loop and you will create the same things over and over again. So self-awareness is getting out of this trap. Like, okay, it's just a thought. Stay calm. And feel that it also goes away. And then you can make a decision that's helpful for you. So these unhelpful thoughts, don't blame them. Say, well, maybe you helped me in the past, I don't need you anymore. I change my thoughts into, and then come up with the thought that you really want. So what it will do is self-awareness is, as far as I see it, is one of the golden keys to personal leadership, but also to leadership in general, and also to success. If you want to have success in your business, in your life, and it doesn't matter what, it starts with self-awareness. That's one of the golden keys there. And once you do this, then you feel also the confidence rising. You feel a level of consciousness rising. You start to know yourself much, much better. And then you can tap into that enormous potential that you are. Then you can see the chances and the possibilities to help you to get out of this, well, we call it a rat race, although you're not a rat and you're not in a race, but in this rat race you can step out and walk your own path. Because you have the potential, you have the power to do that. And it all starts with self-awareness.
Yeah, well, there we are. So I hope, that resonates with you. I think it's something that I think it's crucial nowadays to really become more self-aware. I think also as a species, you know, some scientists say that as humans we are the only ones who are have the capacity to be self-aware. I'm not sure if that's completely true, but there is some thought around that. Yeah. And it is a skill. It's a skill to be self-aware. So very great to know all your traits and all your strengths. But like you say, the golden key is that becoming really self-aware. How do I go about? How do I really think? How do I really engage and communicate? I love that. So and that is that potential that we have in us. And from there, so much can arise. Mm. The impossible can almost... as the words say it, I am possible. Yeah. It's like everything can happen from there. So, but that was it's quite a serious topic, isn't it?
Yes.
It is quite serious.
Although it can also be fun.
Yes, it can be joyful.
Just laugh at yourself. Laugh at these thoughts that you have. Laugh at the way you reacted.
Well...
sometimes.
Yeah,
You
I
can
was
laugh
gonna
about
say.
it. Not always. Not always, because sometimes you're hurting other people, and
Yeah.
although you cannot hurt other people, but
Wow.
we know what we, you know what we mean with this. Yeah.
With your words, you mean physically you can
Yeah.
hurt people, of course. But with your words, perhaps not. But we are still sensitive beings, so
Yes.
we might take things personal. I mean, not taking it personal is one thing that a lot of us aspire. Like one of the 4 agreements, don't make it personal, is still very difficult for lots of us. And that can happen, and that's okay, even to be aware of that, I think. But yeah, it's the joy, I think, is important, that we see it, wow, you know, this is what's happening, this is my thoughts, and I can be the master of them. I don't I can choose which thoughts I give attention, you know. And like we said, we don't say ignore the thoughts that come. If anger comes, well, then just watch what's happening. Where is this anger sitting in my body? But when you become more self-aware and you become more mindful, you will make a choice in what is the best response. You will not react straight away from that anger. You'll go like, okay, this is the anger. I might need to go for a little walk right now, or I might just need to shut my mouth for a moment, or I actually need to voice, or I need to cry a little bit here, and you will become more and more mindful and make conscious choices, and what are the best appropriate choices in that situation. And that is leadership. That is leadership, when you start to become familiar with that and start to embody these things. So yeah, that can be very joyful, because you can have a laugh at yourself sometimes, you know, afterwards maybe, but and maybe in that moment as well.
Yeah.
And I think that is a great skill if you can do that. If you can take the lightness of being into the whole framework of this journey that we're all on, walking each other home, as Ramdas says, which I still love. So, yeah, what else have we got to say that might be joyful today? The next topic?
Next topic, yes.
For next week?
Next week, what will be the next topic?
Well, you choose it.
I choose it?
Yeah, I thought we...
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's do conscious relationships. What is a conscious relationship?
Yeah.
How can you have it? With whom not?
Yeah, that's right. So that's what we'll be writing about next week, and we'll have our talk about it next week as well on Friday, I think same time, if possible, maybe a bit later, 3:30 I think next week.
Yeah.
But we'll let you know. So, well, thanks for watching. We have a few ideas that we're
You want to
working
share?
on. Yeah, well, we could a little bit lift the veil a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Share.
Which one?
Well,
First of all, I don't know if you know that we are starting in September the 4-leaf clover program again, so that might be of interest. Have a look on our website. And we're going to do an experience day online.
Online, yeah.
Soon. So
somewhere in June, I think.
Yeah. 20 something. But we'll write that. We'll write a post on that as well. And we are planning, for those of you who have done an experience day with us, to do a weekend, a 2-day event, rather than just going perhaps straight into the 4-leaf clover year program, or we're actually condensing it a bit. It's becoming less than a year, about 7 or 8 months or something we're looking
8
at.
months, yeah.
And do a 2-day experience. So what, you know, like more embodying the experience day. How far have you come, you know, and how far have you benefited already from what you've realized already? So we feel that might be a very good step for people, like a bridge maybe towards the 4-leaf clover program as well. So we're working on that.
And how can you tap more into your own potential? That's so important for a lot of people.
Yeah, like unlocking.
Unlocking, yeah.
So we're looking at that. So we'll keep you posted on that, and otherwise, we've had a good week. We also went live this week with our on King's Day here in the Netherlands, and we talked about our own sovereignty. You know, that you are the queen or the king of your own inner king or queendom,
Yeah.
and that you reign it, not your thoughts reign it, but you're the master of that. And stay open also for the universe to show you certain things that you might not be able to see yet with your brain, you know. So yeah, we looked at that. It was a nice experience for me as well, just to experience that. Oh yeah, be aware that you could sit in that storm, in that chaos that we were, and it was quite a mess outside, and people were just
Drunk, singing, loud.
Gosh, and throwing everything on the streets. It was actually quite shocking to see how unmindful people are about taking care of their environment as such. You know, it was like, wow.
And themselves.
Yeah, maybe. But it was, or maybe they were very mindful when they threw things away. I don't know. It's an assumption, but I just watching that and realizing, well, I can make another choice here, and it felt good that way.
Yeah.
And we still had fun. But we threw our cup away. In fact, I don't know if we had one. But in any case, that's a whole other conversation, maybe for another point. But thanks for watching. We'll also put these conversations on our YouTube channel. And we're thinking of maybe trying to go YouTube live as well at some point. So we'll see how that will go, but we'll keep you posted. Any questions that you have with in relationship with consciousness, please ask them, and we hope that you love watching, and we love sharing with you our own process, and how it's helping us to become more conscious and to embody consciousness fully. So that's it for me this week. Thank you very much for watching.
And have a wonderful conscious weekend.
Yeah.
And every day to do 2 things that will make you happy. At least 2 things.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And maybe I can suggest something as well for you this week. I was reading a lovely quote from Amma, Indian wise woman, and she was saying, you know, after you wake up in the morning, just sit on your bed for about a couple of minutes, or maybe to 5 minutes, and really connect with your divine energy before you start to do anything that day, and see what happens in your day, how you experience that day. So just want to share that with you. I think it's when you do those 2 things, do them fully aware and with great love and joy in your heart. All right. Well, that's it for that day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.